school with me. She was actually in the...
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, really? That's some heavy stuff.
You had a friend who studied midwifery.
She wanted to.
Really?
She wanted to study midwifery. She thought it was really interesting. I don't think she was majoring in it, but she wanted to study it. She wanted to be like a midwife.
That's
That
interesting.
was kind of interesting.
And she wanted to become a midwife, and then they'd have, like, she'd recommend doulas to couples.
No. She wasn't doing it.
Okay.
She wanted to. I think she was going to study that after she got her... I'm guessing she wanted to study it after she... after that she got her bachelor's. But I graduated before she did, and I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, that's got to be an odd field.
It is, but now couples are hiring doulas.
I knew a couple who hired a doula.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the difference between a doula and a midwife is.
So the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, is that a doula is there to advocate for the wife. Or the mother, rather. Mm-hmm. Because the mother is in a lot of pain, she has a lot of anxiety. You run through what you want with the doula ahead of time. And you have a couple meetings saying, okay, if this happens, I want you to advocate for this. If this happens, advocate for that. And then she's there in the delivery room to make sure that everything goes according to plan.
I remember, so I used to watch, I think it was either called The Baby Story or Deliver Me, one of the pregnancy shows. And they were showing this lady that was giving birth, and she was using a doula. And the doula's like, "Are you okay?" And she's asking the lady if she was okay, and she was in a lot of pain. Like, she was literally screaming because she's like, "Ah," Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah. And now some women are going to birthing centers. Not the traditional hospitals.
Interesting.
And some women, I think Ricky Lake did this for one of her babies. She gave birth in a bathtub, which I thought was kind of strange.
I know that's like a big trend to do.
It is, yeah.
It seems a little bit odd to me and unsafe.
I don't know. I've heard some mixed feelings about it. I heard it's less painful for the woman if she is in labor in the water. And then I also heard that when the baby comes out, when the baby is born in water, and the more you expose the baby to water, they may learn how to swim easily.
That sounds like some new age stuff to me.
That's what I heard, though. I don't know if that's true.
That doesn't sound real to me. It sounds like something that people just want to tell themselves.
I think you should Google it.
I don't
know if I believe it either. I'm just saying, before you come to a conclusion.
No, but it seems like something that's made up to me.
Well, you'll never know unless you look it up.
That's right. But, I mean, things can be faked on the internet. You know. Jaylo.
What?
Things can be faked on the internet.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying, if it was backed up by accredited doctors, would you believe it?
I would do some more research if I found that out.
Yeah. If it was backed up with doctors that had documented them in journals or things like that. But then you have to also consider the sources that they document these things in, too.
Yeah, if it's like Bob's Journal of Medicine.
Yeah, Bob's Journal.
I might have a harder time believing it. You're liking that kombucha, though. Mm-hmm. It's a good mango kombucha.
It's good, and there's chunks of it.
There are. Yes.
Hey, good.
Yeah, good.
What is this?
That's the iPad.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that you can call somebody on your iPad. Or you can call, somebody can call...
I have a friend I do that with all the time.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yes. Should we move over to the couch, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so let me, do you want to still finish this kombucha, or are you good with it?
What do you think? Do you want a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll have a little bit more.
Yeah, have a little bit more
Let me
kombucha.
get more, honey.
It's
not going to hurt you. It's good for your insides.
Yes, it is. Probiotic. I wish I was able to produce more this summer. I am thinking about trying to do like one more batch to see if I can get it right this summer. Because last summer we just had tons of it.
Yeah, I know. I think you should, and this is just my opinion, I still like the idea of you making like a tropical one. Yeah, if possible. I don't know about the berry one because certain berries are going to be out of season. Like strawberries are going to become more out of season as the summer wanes down. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do it with blueberries too.
You could do it with frozen berries.
Frozen berries. Okay, well that might work.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool to do like one more batch and make it like a tropical one, like bananas, mangoes, pineapples, maybe if you're able to find, I don't know if they have like frozen passion fruit or anything.
They do.
Frozen guava.
I'm sure I can find guava.
Yeah, guava.
Guava.
I like. You know what I haven't had in a while is guava jelly.
I don't remember having guava jelly.
Guava
I remember we always had like guava juice around the house as a kid.
Guava juice is good, and I've tried pieces of guava itself, but guava jelly is really good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try guava jelly. Have you had the dried guava?
No, I don't think so.
We had that a lot as a kid too.
Yeah, you haven't had fresh guava?
I've had fresh guava, but I've had more dried guava.
Wow, it's good. Guava jelly.
Guava jelly. Should we move over to the?
Let me wash it here.
All right. Wash up.
Finish the kombucha, okay?
Okay. Resume. All right, we are back. Resume. All right.
Alright.
Jaylo, hello.
Yes, hello.
Jaylo.
Hello.
Jaylo.
Hello, everybody.
Jaylo.
What?
How are you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm feeling optimistic.
Oh, that's good.
And considering our earlier talk about Ice Cube.
Right.
Do you want to go into this?
Why don't you open it up and I'll continue with it.
I'm a big Ice Cube fan. I love his stuff with NWA, but he also had a lot of really good solo albums.
Mm-hmm.
And he produced this group called The Lynch Mob that I was a fan of. He was also in it. It's more of a collective than a regular rap group.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the West Side Connection. He's obviously done movies. I've seen him live. I've heard good things about him until I started dating you.
Hey, wait a second. What does that mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, tell me. Fill me in.
What are you trying to say?
I used to know one person who met Ice Cube.
Yes.
He was driving down the street.
Yes.
His car broke down, and these guys pulled up beside him, and it was Ice Cube with some of his friends. They called AAA, and they waited there, and my friend said that he was really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then I met you.
And I ruined it for you, right?
You did.
Well, now keep in mind, this happened in the early 90s.
What happened on the early? Your sister.
We were at the mall. It was my mom, my two sisters, and I think we had a friend with us, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be wrong. I have to ask my sister to clarify it. But she was telling me that they saw Ice Cube at the mall, and when people were trying to talk to him, and I don't know if they did talk to him, but I think he was like, "Don't tell anybody I'm here. I don't want any autographs." That's one.
He didn't ask for their autograph though.
No, he didn't want to get he didn't want anyone to get autographs from him.
Oh, okay. He didn't want to, but
yeah,
he didn't want to get.
That's what I was
Okay,
trying to say. I don't want you to ask for any autographs. I'm not going to sign any autographs. He just didn't want anyone to know that he was around. Maybe he was shopping, or maybe he just wanted a day to himself. I don't know. And then my sister told me that my brother-in-law, before he met my sister, I think this might have been in the 90s sometime, I don't know, but he said that he got backstage passes to meet Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg and some other people, I can't remember. She told me that he said Snoop Dogg was really nice and the other people were nice too. He met Ice Cube and he's like, "Who's this guy?" I don't know how he quoted it, but he basically said, "Who is this guy? I don't really," he basically acted, he just didn't want to talk to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law asked his friend, he said, I want you to go get him, because I don't care if he's Ice Cube, I don't care if he's like the famous rapper in the world, but he should treat his fans better, and he shouldn't be mean like that. That's just really rude. So he was really rude to my brother-in-law, and he didn't have a good experience.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
The other flip side to this is Ice Cube makes really aggressive music.
Mm-hmm.
So him being rude kind of fits the image a little bit.
Doesn't make it right, though.
Doesn't make it right, though.
No. And like I've said before, it's possible he has changed for the better because, he has children now, I'm guessing.
He does have children.
He has children.
His son played him in the movie, Straight Outta Compton.
The young Ice Cube.
He played Ice Cube throughout the movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, his son must be in his 20s then, right? I guess?
I think he was like 21 when they made the movie.
Wow.
His son was actually at the concert where I saw Ice Cube. He brought his son out on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought maybe his kids were younger than that.
I think that's his oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have the timeline a little bit wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think his son was 21 when they made the movie, and like 22 or 23 when it came out, and now he's like 27 or 28.
Yes.
I could be off by a couple
Wow.
years,
I thought maybe they were younger, but I don't know when he had his kids, but maybe, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he may have been rude before, but maybe he realizes that fame isn't everything, and that because he has children, not because he has kids, maybe he should think about seeing the world differently and seeing people differently. I don't know. You can only hope that somebody has learned to grow.
I wonder what it's like for somebody like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
You're this famous guy, you have kids, and perhaps they're a fan of somebody who's not really in his world. So, like, maybe Ice Cube has a kid who's a big Miley Cyrus fan.
Wow.
How does he approach that? Because he probably doesn't care about Miley Cyrus. But if his kid does he call her up and say, hey, yeah, Don Mega. That's what he called himself. Don Mega.
Don Mega.
Walking with my entourage. But does he call somebody like Miley Cyrus, for example, and say, hey, listen, I need an autograph for you. I need you to make me look good in front of my kid.
I want my kid really enjoys your music, and I want to make my kid happy.
Or is he like the opposite, to where if one of his kids is a fan of somebody, he doesn't acknowledge them, he doesn't let them go to that person's events?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe his kids are not Miley Cyrus fans, and I'm not.
Well, no, but that's just an example of somebody, right? She was just the first name that came to my head, but it could be anybody. It could be Engelbert Humperdinck for all I know.
Yeah, Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah.
Who does have some great hits. I don't know. But you know who I'd kind of want to meet?
Who's that?
Because she kind of fascinates me. And we've had conversations about her. I kind of like to talk to Michelet.
Hear how Dr. Dre supposedly, allegedly pulled a gun out on her.
Well, you can't really, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if I could take... Well, I'm not saying that it didn't happen to her, but when someone talks like this, I don't know.
It makes, and I wasn't there.
I know.
But she has some unflattering things to say about Dr. Dre.
Absolutely. But you can't really... You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt,
I think she would be one of those people who would be fun to talk to for like 10 minutes, and then it would get kind of old.
It'd get kind of weird. I think it would be kind of... she seems like, when you hear her in interviews, she seems like a really chill person. But then I don't quite know if maybe she's all there as far as, like... her awareness of what she says.
Yeah, I kind of think that she's a little bit too out there.
But I think it would be kind of interesting to know what what she's like in person, because I've heard her voice. It's just so odd, though.
Yeah, because it's so much. If you listen to No More Lies, they kind of combined her regular voice.
Yeah. With
her singing voice.
Because in the song, when you hear the phone, she goes, "Hello," right?
Hello.
And then she sings.
Mm-hmm.
She sings her verses, and it's like, whoa, that's a different voice.
It is.
And she goes, "I'm not a sucker,"
Yeah.
Chill out, you know. And then she does that chill out, your nose is growing Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And she's kind of talking like this. I could probably pull off her voice, maybe. I don't know.
Could.
But it's just so funny because I heard her interview on Sway's Universe. And, she was kind of like, the reason why I have a big voice with that when I sing is because I learned how to sing above the larynx. I guess it's a singing technique that I'm not aware of, but you can do that. And I heard that I guess it probably requires practice. It's something I should look up. How to sing above the larynx.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so weird because she goes back, and then you ever wonder what happens when she gets mad at her kids or mad at somebody, and she starts singing?
Yeah.
The only way I can get my voice to be bigger is I'll sing a few bars.
So she's really pissed off. She starts singing to her kids, "You need to clean up your room. I'm throwing your stuff out." If you don't get in there now.
Yeah, take out the garbage.
Or she's like MC Mom.
No, but her voice sound like she would only, if she was like she would have to like rap or not rap, but sing. Yeah, even on her one song, Nicety, right? She sings very different. She sounds so different, and she doesn't talk in the song. Oh no, wait, she does, because in the song she says no more questions, no more games, and then she sings her verse.
I really only remember No More Lies and then the songs he did with Tupac.
What song was that?
I forgot the name of it, but it's on All Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
And I think it's on the second disc. It starts like, she's like, you can run the streets with your thugs. Da, 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 da.
I don't remember that one.
That's a pretty good song.
But her album was good, and I'm surprised that my dad got it, because he actually liked her music, and he bought the tape, and we used to listen to it in the car.
Well, she wasn't a rapper. She just affiliated with a lot of the West Coast heavyweights.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
He liked her music. She's not a rapper.
No.
She's a singer, but he liked her music, which I was really surprised. And so we used to listen to it all the time. And I don't know what the name of her album was, but it was really good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. Yes.
So much good music. But so you would like to meet Miss Chalet?
Yeah, just to, maybe talk for about 10 minutes or 15. They say that when you meet somebody, you know if you like them in the first 10 to 15 minutes, which I think there may be some truth to that.
It's possible.
It's possible.
We could see if you like Miss Chalet, if we could set up a play date.
Play date? Is that what they call it?
Take y'all to wherever kids go to play.
Yeah, but we're adults.
You're adults.
We're adults.
You can watch
Go to a coffee shop.
Go to a coffee shop.
Go to a coffee shop, or go to like go to a burger place, or go to like a French restaurant and have her pay from
I
pick up the tab. No,
am of the assumption that she's probably broke.
Maybe she is. I'll just remember to bring extra money to buy my thing.
And I don't know for sure. I mean, she could be rolling in money.
She could be.
Something tells me that she doesn't have a lot.
But it would be kind of interesting, just to, sit in a booth and talk.
Talk about the old days.
Talk about the old days when I used to listen to her album when I was 10. I don't know.
I bet she has some really interesting stories about like Eazy-E and.
But I think maybe if I ever talked to her, I wouldn't talk about that.
Okay.
I'd probably talk about something else, because I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty about her and Dr. Dre's relationship, because I've heard about it.
I hear what you're saying.
Eazy-E, because I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to talk about Suge Knight and all that. I think it's too much drama. And
I hear what you're saying. Like, if I met Ice Cube, I'm a complete fanboy, but I think I'd hopefully hold it together, and I wouldn't be like, what's it like working with Dre? Hopefully, I'd be more. I'd hopefully have more class. Yeah. The thing I would say with Miss Chalet is, what are you going to talk with her about?
I would just talk about stuff like, tell me your interests, tell me your hobbies. I'm really into music. Huh?
Getting beat by Dre's.
No. Not Dre's beats. No. I'm not going to talk to her about her interview on the Wendy Williams show or Arsenio Hall show. I'd like to see where she really is at with her life, and because she's probably been asked that question several times, and she probably is tired of it. And I want to see what it's like to treat a celebrity like she's just one of us. I don't want to sit there and really talk about all the other stuff that happened to her, because it's too much drama, and I'm like, I want to have a good time with it.
But the thing is, I don't know if
I don't want to be so starstruck I forget that she's just a human like I am.
Right, but I don't know if she has a type of intellect to where you could just have a normal conversation with her. So I think some celebrities you could, like Ice Cube, like whoever it is, but I don't know if she's has the same mental capacity.
Like, I'd like to talk to her about, like, do you have any musical, and do you play any musical instruments? Because I'm into music.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another person I'd love to talk to.
Tell me.
And is Lizzo, and you introduced me to her.
Lizzo's really cool.
Yeah. I would love to have a conversation with her about how it was for her being a flute major. Not necessarily about how her teacher was, but it would be kind of interesting to tell her, oh yeah, by the way, I have a kind of a connection with you, you know.
Yeah,
somewhat.
You talked to that teacher on the telephone.
I did, and I'll just say that I felt very intimidated, and I didn't even meet this woman. I'm not even going to mention her name. I feel intimidated because I just and I didn't realize. I was listening to this interview. I'm like, oh my goodness, I talked to that lady.
That's so crazy.
Oh my goodness, I could have been her intern, but that wasn't going to work out. And in some ways, I'm kind of glad I wasn't.
It shows you how crazy music is.
Huh?
Not how crazy music is, but how crazy small the world is, right?
I would just love to talk to her about flute stuff and to tell her that I am just in love with the flute, and I've always been playing. I never stopped playing it, even when I wasn't taking lessons. You know, I always made time to play for people, and I mean, I want to know how it was like for her, and then tell her what it was like for me being the only blind flutist in the program, and to tell her kind of compare notes to see how demanding it was for her versus how demanding it was for me. And tell her that I stuck with it. I didn't get the actual specified degree, but I stuck with it. I didn't drop out. But that, and to tell her that I'm glad that you were able to make use of your flute playing, even though you weren't playing in symphonies, and how it was for her to transition from classical flute to rap. Because I think I love to know that. I think it'd be really cool.
I bet you have some interesting stories related to that.
Yeah, I would love to, I would love to compare notes with her and just to see what common ground we have. She probably has a lot of questions for me. She would probably have a lot of questions for me.
Really?
I would think so.
What do you think she would ask you?
How were you able to read music if you could? How were you able to learn, pieces of music, full-on pieces of music? What was your process? Things like that, I'm sure. I'm sure, sighted musicians have a lot of questions for blind musicians, as much as blind musicians have a lot of questions for sighted musicians. Even the ones that aren't so famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's a different life experience.
It is. But it would be something that I would love to talk to her about.
Maybe that'll happen one day. You never know.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. I mean, I don't just want to talk to her about her career, although I think she has produced some good music from what I heard, and I haven't heard a lot of it. But it's good, and she's got some great beats, and she can sing. She kind of reminds me of a young Queen Latifah, except she hasn't acted, I don't think.
I don't think she has.
Because Queen Latifah can act, she can sing, and she can rap.
Queen Latifah can act, but whenever I see her or something, I'm remembering that I'm seeing Queen Latifah.
Yeah, but you gotta get over that.
No, but I've never seen her get lost in the character.
I heard that she's really good in The Secret Life of Bees.
Oh, I thought you said that you saw it.
I did. No, I said I heard that she acted really good in The Secret Life of Bees.
Right, but you've seen it, so you would know if she did a good job acting in it or not.
Yeah, well, my aunt was so there was a crying scene that they had. One of the women that was living with her and Alicia Keys died, and
spoiler.
Yeah, but there was just one scene.
Go ahead.
I'm just explaining one scene. It wasn't like I'm spoiling the whole story. But Queen Latifah did it. She was good in the crying scene, and I think it was my aunt that commented that Alicia Keys, she also acted in it. That she wasn't as great an actor as great an actress as Queen Latifah, because Queen Latifah's been doing it for years.
Okay, so when I've seen Queen Latifah and stuff, yeah. I always think that I'm watching Queen Latifah. I never think that I'm watching the characters.
Okay.
So this is going to be an odd comparison, but Will Smith,
mm-hmm.
I don't think initially he was that good of an actor.
Right.
He was good on The Fresh Prince
mm-hmm.
because it was a character that was somewhat similar to him in real life.
Right, and he was good at comedy.
Yeah, they had the same name. He was from Philadelphia. It was a comedy, it was sitcom, so it was a great show and he was good in it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a great actor.
Right.
In Bad Boys and Independence Day, he was basically playing a version of that character, right? But when I saw him in the movie Happiness,
Right.
I forgot that I was watching.
Oh, The Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I forgot that I was watching Will Smith.
And there is a movie called Happiness, but he's not in it.
Right, but he's in The Pursuit of Happiness.
Right, yeah.
And he's really, really good.
I need to watch it. I have the DVD
You haven't
somewhere.
seen it.
I know. I have the DVD. It was actually a birthday present from one of my sisters. And I haven't watched it. And I haven't watched, I think one of them, my sister gave me bought me the movie 7 Pounds. And I heard that one was good. He was in 7 Pounds with Rosario Dawson.
I haven't seen that, but so not only is he good in Happiness, but the movie is really good. And I think that there's a lot of positive messages in the movie, too.
You're talking about the same movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you mean?
No, the way that you phrased it was different.
How did I phrase it?
Well, you said not only was he good in the Pursuit of Happiness, but he was good in the movie. The movie was good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you can be a good actor and give a great performance, but the movie still sucks.
Oh, okay. He was good. Now, I did see him in Ali, and he was good in that one.
I didn't see it.
It was good. He actually did sound like Muhammad Ali.
So you forgot that you were watching Will Smith.
I did.
Okay.
He actually made me forget that he wasn't the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Because he was that good. He got into the character of Muhammad Ali.
It wasn't like he was in the ring and he said, I want to introduce Uncle Phil.
Hey, Uncle Phil. Shout out to Uncle Phil. Yeah.
Where's Jeffrey?
Where's Jeffrey?
Where's the original Anthony?
Yeah, he was really... I heard that they interviewed the cast of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when James Avery died. And, I heard he was a big guy already.
He was big on the show. That was one of the
and he died. He died. I think he had, I don't remember if it was a heart attack or something, but the cast members were really sad. Like I heard that Tatiana Ali said that he was like a father to them. I think that's what she said. But they were really sad. I remember when he died too. It was really a sad thing. Like, oh, James Avery's gone.
We're never getting a Fresh Prince reunion.
He was also on Webster. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
He played a judge on Webster.
That's right. He was a judge on that, and then he was a judge on The Fresh Prince.
Yeah. And he said that she liked the episode with Sherman Helmsley.
Sherman Helmsley was in a few episodes.
Yeah, he was Judge Robertson. Uncle Phil, wasn't he like competing to get the judge?
So what happens is, as the series starts off, Uncle Phil is his partner at a law firm.
Yeah.
He eventually decides that he wants to run and become a judge.
Mm-hmm.
He's running against Judge Roberts, but the thing that makes it more complicated is he's always looked up to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you break the news to this mentor of yours that you're going to run against him?
Is there water over here?
No.
Okay.
But you're making my humanity.
I'm sorry.
You like to do that a lot.
No, I just, Go on.
I was like, I could be saying, I'm about to die. He's, oh, wow.
Go on.
Okay, so he's running, he has to break the news that he's running against his mentor. So you meet Judge Roberts and you realize he is a complete jerk.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, well, what kind of guy is Uncle Phil that he would have this person as his mentor?
Yeah. But didn't you say, wasn't there something that, that one joke he made?
Oh, I love this joke. So the joke is, this was when the first Aunt Viv was pregnant.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil is thinking to himself, I gotta tell Judge Roberts soon that I'm running against him. They're hanging out for whatever reason. I'm gonna paraphrase it, but Sherman Helmsley says something to the effect, you have a nice family and a beautiful wife, but she has a beer belly. And Uncle Phil's like, that's my wife and she's pregnant.
Yeah.
To which Sherman Helmsley responds with, oh, then she should lay off the beer.
That's funny.
Yes.
And then doesn't he die? Like
he does. He's in a few episodes, and then I forgot because it's been years since I see it, but he dies somehow. And in real life, he died.
Yes, he did. Years later. But you said that we were talking about this show, Amen, I think was only on for one season.
I think it might have been ran for more than that. But
maybe 1 or 2 seasons. And Regina King was his daughter.
Daddy?
Daddy?
She also played Redman's mom in How High.
Oh, wow. Anyways, but back to Amen. He was his daughter. She was his daughter, and Sherman Helmsley played a deacon of all people, which is kind of funny because he plays jerks on TV.
I knew him more than that than I did from the Jeffersons.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What else was he in?
Well, he was on the Jeffersons.
No, I know that.
But
what else was he in?
I knew him more from Amen than anything else.
Oh yeah, he was on the. Yeah, I've watched the Jeffersons before I watched before I watched Amen.
I'm going to say something that's probably considered wrong.
Okay.
I never really got into the Jeffersons.
Yeah, that is kind of wrong.
Really? It is a good show?
It is, and I didn't watch every episode, but it was really funny. And it's really surprising to me that Isabel Sanford was much older than Sherman Hemsley.
I think it was like something like 20 years
Wow.
old. Yeah.
But she seems like a nice lady.
She seemed like a very nice lady.
George.
This show just seemed predictable to me.
But it was just funny because the interaction with her, he was kind of a hothead, and the interaction with Louise, because he would call her Wheezy. Wheezy? I thought it was funny. I really thought it was funny. And then the interaction with him, her, and Marla Gibbs, who played their maid Florence. That was hilarious. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I just didn't get it.
And Marla Gibbs was also on 227. She played Mary Jenkins, who was one of the main characters.
And Kim Wayans went on to talk about her on In Living Color.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, was it Miss Jenkins when she's doing the gossip lady?
No, Miss Jenkins was like a person you never saw.
But she talked about her, right? Didn't she?
She goes, "Don't you ever talk about Miss Jenkins? She's like a mother to me." And then afterwards, she would gossip about her.
Yeah.
She would gossip about everybody, and she's like yelling at the window, and she's like, "Hey, so and so," and then she goes. She like after a while they would leave and she's like and she's like, "Well, I ain't the one that gossips. You ain't heard that from me. I'm not the one that gossips. You ain't heard that from me. No, you haven't."
That's such a great show.
That was a funny show. I like the two gay movie critics.
Men on Film.
Men on Film. Antoine Merriweather and I forgot the other person.
And they were gay in real life and they were dating.
No, they weren't.
Oh, how do you know?
No, but they certainly did play.
Don't worry about that.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yes. But yeah, they were, I believe it was Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans. And in real life, they were dating.
Her brothers.
And they were dating.
Well, they weren't.
And the family found it out.
Don't ruin it for me.
Oh.
I don't want to think of that image.
I think I just made that up. I don't think they were really dating in real life.
Nah.
That would be funny.
Nah.
And also wrong.
And also very wrong.
Right.
So many levels.
Not to be gay, but to be dating.
Yeah, it was such a funny show.
It was a great show.
Homie the Clown, and
and Paul Mooney's in trouble now.
Paul Mooney?
Yeah.
Who's Paul Mooney?
You don't know who Paul Mooney is.
I don't recognize his name.
Oh, babe. Paul Mooney was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. What did he do?
He's released some specials and some comedy albums.
Yeah.
But he's more known behind the scenes. So he worked and wrote a lot of stuff with Richard Pryor. And he also was a writer on In Living Color. And he helped Damon Wayans shape the Homie the Clown character.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
he was also in the movie Bamboozled.
Oh, wow.
He played the stand-up comedian in that, the older guy.
Oh, wow.
And he was on the Larry Sanders Show for one episode.
Okay. Wow. No, I'm not familiar with him, really.
Paul Mooney's great, and he was also on Chappelle's Show, but you've never watched Chappelle's Show.
Maybe a little bit, but I wasn't really into Dave Chappelle either.
See, I think...
I'm not saying that he isn't a good comedian, I just wasn't interested in watching it. Maybe I don't know if my sister did.
This is high praise, but I think Chappelle's Show is just as funny as In Living Color.
Yeah. It's funny that you're talking about Dave Chappelle, because I heard a clip, and it was just a little clip of his special, and he did some, and
That's right, he has a new one out on Netflix.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, but I heard that he made some really sophisticated jokes.
He's great. I think he's super funny.
And he actually made, he actually was on the special on record. He was talking about his critics, like, you can say whatever you want to, but when it comes to ripping on other comedians, like how comedians will make fun of anything and everything that religion.
I think good comedians will.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I'm not talking about. There seems to be like a double standard.
Tell me.
You can make fun of such and such things, but there are people that say, you can't do this. You have to stifle whatever it is. You can't go there.
You know what? I think you'll find pockets of that no matter what you make fun of. So if you make fun of religion, there's going to be people who are upset with you. If you make fun of, I don't know, gay rights, there's going to be people who are upset with you. If you make fun of, I don't know, action movies, or people who are going to hate on you.
Well, no, but he was saying that, you know, comedians have chosen to go there with religion and everything, and I mean, and I'm not, and for me, you know this about me, that I'm not for censorship about any kind.
I'm not a fan of censorship.
And I mean, if you don't like what they're saying, just change the channel or don't watch it. That's the only thing, you know. And some people are like, well, you can't say this, and I'm like, just know that comedians do like to go there. But I think what he was saying, that there's like a double standard in the comedy world where I think he was talking about ripping on other comedians. Like, you can't say this about this comedian or whatever.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But, and he was saying that about his critics.
Yeah.
We're going to watch you, and whatever you say, we're going to watch you. But most comedians have the freedom to say what they want to say. But when it comes to other comedians, when they're ripping on other comedians, they have to watch what they say or whatever.
So if I understand what you're saying, you're saying that comedians have the right to say whatever they want to say, and for the most part, that's respected, except when they make fun of other comedians.
I think
other people.
And this is now having said that, I may have misquoted it, but
I'm sure you did.
It's really.
You say things funny sometimes. We go ahead.
You know what? You're gonna get it later. I think that's
Sex.
now. No.
Go ahead.
No, we're not going to talk about that. I think that's what he was saying. Now, I think I'm misquoting it, but he was definitely like using his comedy to get after his critics.
You haven't watched the first 4 specials he has on Netflix, have you?
No, I told you.
He's really funny, babe.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
But you're not.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Maybe.
Maybe he's not different strokes funny.
No, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Maybe I will. I don't know.
I'm surprised there's all this good art out there that you just have not experienced.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not going to. I just haven't.
No, I mean, like, for him to Joe Rogan to, you know, so many great TV shows that you're just not allowing yourself to.
I just haven't, you know, allowed myself to sit there and listen. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to. It's just I haven't done it yet. You know? Haven't.
Yes. I hope you do, because he has some really good stuff.
Yeah, I do want to look up the Lil Jon interview that he was doing for a sketch.
I think it's called A Moment with Little Jon.
A Moment with Little Jon.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Now speaking of comedy sketches,
go ahead.
The Ollie G one that you played, the 2 Ollie G ones that you played for me the other day was really funny.
Oh yeah,
yesterday.
Those were classic, because
that
just
was
to
hilarious.
give a little bit more background, we were talking about his movies, Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Ollie G, and I'm not a big fan of his movies, and neither are you.
Yeah.
But I said...
There was only one that he made, was Borat.
He made a couple. He made Bruno. I think he might have done another one.
Okay, I don't know that one.
But I told you, okay, I'm not a fan of his movies. However, the Ali G show was really, really funny.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, oh, ich Frank.
I never said that.
You implied it.
No.
And so I said, okay.
I never implied that.
Yes, he's not Jennifer Aniston, but let me show you something. So I played you... the first thing I played you was the thing that made me a fan of his, which was his interview with Andy Rooney.
That was funny. I can't do this anymore.
That's great.
Does you think...
does you think the media is...
it's like, does you think or do you think?
Have you ever reported tomorrow's news today? He's like, what do you mean? Well, let's say there was something like election results. Wouldn't you want to report that today so that people know? It's like,
yeah, it's funny because he has like a British accent.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we's talking to my main...
we's talking to my main man, Mr. Andy.
And how do you spell your name? R-O-O-N-E... I think he said like Rooney.
Yeah.
Andy Rooney. But it was really funny.
It's great.
It was like, does you think? Is it does you think or do you think? I have like 50 books on the English language. I can let you borrow one if you want.
I have over 50 books on the English language. I'll let you borrow one if you like. This does a lot more like that.
And it's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I gotta go. I don't have any time.
Is it because I was black?
Because I was black. No, but the Buzz Aldrin one was funny too.
Buzz Aldrin one was great, and he was more in on the joke too. It seemed like.
He's like, does you think that some people, believe that the moon doesn't exist? Like,
no, he's like, what do you say to people who tell you that the moon doesn't exist?
He asked it in a weird way.
I love though in that clip where he's like, has man ever walked on the sun? And he's like, no, it's too hot. And then he's like, what about if they went in winter?
And the winter's like, no, it's not a good place to go. It's still hot in the winter. It hasn't changed temperature.
What was it like being the second man on the moon after Louis Armstrong?
Or he goes, does you think that people believe that the moon doesn't exist? It's like, I don't think I've met anyone that would disagree that the moon, that would agree that the moon doesn't exist. Because the moon does exist, we went there. And I think he meant to talk about the moon landing, but he's doing it intentionally. And it's like, I got a joke for you. It's about space. There was a monster in space, and he was trying to book a hotel in space, and the booker said, "Well, we can't let you in because the moon is full." And he started laughing.
Yes,
it was funny.
It was a good interview.
I kind of like when I was listening to him doing the interview with Buzz Aldrin, I kind of heard him like chuckle a little bit because I think he thought it was funny.
It was good. It was a lot of fun. And then I played some Key and Peele. I played you MC Mom.
And that was funny.
I think MC Mom is great. She's my favorite rapper right now.
Yeah. Maybe I should go to the store and buy some extra crispy socks.
Crispy socks here. Crispy socks there. Crispy socks with some mystery here.
Ew. Ew. That's funny though.
That's great.
Wow.
I'm buying her next album.
Okay.
But yeah, you should really watch the Ali G show because it's very, very funny. Unlike his movies.
Unlike his movies, okay.
Unlike his movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, what have you been reading lately, Mr. Hammond?
I read this book by a singer named Charles Long the other night.
Is it a long book?
No.
and no pun intended.
No, it's a short book by Long. It was really good. He was talking about his adventures getting these gigs as a singer.
Wow. So he's a famous opera singer.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That was good. I read a couple Colonel books, which are released by the National Federation.
I think that was when I was going to talk about the Colonel books.
What about them?
I think I was going to read some of them after this, maybe.
Yeah, the one I read the other day was something like, I Can Feel Blue on a Monday.
Wow.
That's a really good one.
Wow.
There's a bunch of them out there, but the Colonel books are great. If
I just typed in Colonel books, would I be able to find it by subject?
Yeah, if you type in Colonel books, you should be able to find it and download them.
And they're on Bard?
They're on Bard.
Okay.
They're also on Bookshare, and you can go to the NFB website and download them for free, too.
And they're only published by the NFB, then?
They're published by the NFB.
Okay, wow.
They're great books. I'm trying to think, what else have I been reading recently? Actually, I can let me pull up my list and see if I can refresh my memory, because I have a list on Goodreads of what I've been reading. Yeah, because I read a lot. So let me see what's been on the reading list this week. Let's see. Of course, now it's taking forever to load. Come on. All right, let's see. Pull up what I've been reading. All right, so I've also read. So the name of the Charles Long book is Adventures in the Screen Trade.
In the Screen Trade.
Yeah, and the NFB book is I Can Feel Blue on a Monday. Oh, this is another good book I read this week. Rebel Without a Crew. Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez. You know who Robert Rodriguez is?
No, you told me about him, though.
Robert Rodriguez directed El Mariachi. He also made Desperado.
Yeah.
He I know you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, which you should really see, but Quentin Tarantino is in the movie, and he's horrible in the movie. But when he's in the movie, Robert Rodriguez was the one who directed his scenes.
Oh, okay.
And he also did From Dusk Till Dawn, which actually Tarantino gives a good performance in, and the Spy Kids movies.
Oh, wow, okay.
The book Rebel Without a Crew is documenting the making of his first film, El Mariachi, which he did for only $7,000. So it goes through how he did it and how he sold the film.
Oh, wow.
It's a really good book. So that was a book I read earlier this week. Let me give you one more. I Can Only Imagine.
Yes, and I actually read that one. Well, I listened to the narration that who's it by? Brett Midler, something Millard. What's his name?
Burt Millard.
Burt Millard.
Do you want to describe the book a little bit?
So Burt Millard is it Burt? Yes.
Yes.
Burt. So Burt Millard is the lead singer. He's a frontman on the Christian group Mercy Me, which I'm familiar with. And one of my favorite songs is I Can Only Imagine. And he wrote a book based on his life with his mother and father. And his father was a very, very bitter person. And
he also had a traumatic brain injury, his father did.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
He was also an alcoholic as well. He also drank a lot. And he wasn't the nicest person to his mother and to Burt. And just talking about his transformation, but also Burt's transformation as he was a teenager, and how he when his dad didn't care about what he was doing, he ended up going to church. And how...
His dad should have taken more interest, I think.
Stop it.
Go ahead.
And as he was growing in church, and how the relationship between him and his dad got before he died, and how the relationship strengthened even more, and how he met his wife and his children, and it was a very, very candid and very touching story, and that was one of my favorite books to read, or listen to rather, but it was really good. I
would not say that it was one of my favorite books, but I really enjoyed it too.
But you would agree that this story was very, very good.
It was a good story. And it's not one that necessarily applies to me because I'm not a Christian, but I like the idea of somebody finding themselves in something. And I really related to when he's talking about struggling as an artist.
Yeah.
Like when they talked about how they lived in that house.
Yep.
Was it Nashville?
I think it might have been because they were on the road.
No, it was Oklahoma. I'm sorry, it was Oklahoma. Yeah, it was Oklahoma.
That was when they first got married, I think, right?
No, it was when he was with the band.
Okay.
They were in Oklahoma, then they moved to Nashville,
right. And
then I believe they moved to LA.
I think so. It's I only listened to it once, so I think you're right.
Because they were there during the Oklahoma City bombings.
Right.
They were about 25 miles away, and he said that they could feel it in their house.
Yeah.
That the band was singing. Was it out? No, they were singing in an abandoned school.
I think so. It's been months since I've listened to it.
It was a really good book.
But it was very good, and I really enjoyed it. And also, I shouldn't forget to mention, he was talking about Dennis Quaid, who played his father, and he said that he helped him with the script because they were going by what Burt's childhood was like and growing up with his father. And he said that when he would watch Dennis Quaid act as his father, he would tear up because it would bring memories about how his father used to be. There was a scene in the movie, and it was also mentioned in a book, where his dad took a plate and broke the plate over Bert's head. And the scene in the movie just made him tear up because he remembered it. He remembered that. He remembered how his father used to be. And I think in the story, his father cried after that happened.
They also, in the book, they made peace with each other because the dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Yes, I believe so.
And they started to repair their relationship.
What was really touching was his father used to be a really big guy, right? And when he was dying of cancer, he said, I can't imagine, you know, I'm thinking about it, and my father used to be a big guy, but here I am, I'm holding my dad because he was in so much pain.
He was like 120 pounds of
Yeah, and he said, he would tell me to hold him because he was in a lot of pain before he died. And he did that because he wanted to, because their relationship was better. And he did that for his dad to honor his dad, and I thought that was a really touching part of the story.
Do you remember that one part of the book where he comes home and his dad is on the floor? They think that he's dying.
Yeah.
And the dad says, you know, I love you, and he's telling him all this stuff. So they call the ambulance, thinking it's going to be the end.
Mm-hmm.
They come, get his dad, and they find out that he just has a flu. But it's more intense because he also has pancreatic cancer.
Right.
So he doesn't die, but they have that beautiful moment together.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a false alarm. There's a lot of beautiful moments that they had in the book, and judging by how how their relationship has been repaired, I just love stories like that, and that was and I heard the movie's good too. So now I want to watch the movie now that I read the book.
There might be a lot of religion in the movie. I don't know if you can handle that. Talk about Christianity.
You already know how I feel about it. Don't act like you don't know.
Okay. So you might watch the movie at some point.
Of course. Yeah.
Have you taken my advice and watched the movie Coco?
No, and I need to. I know. I heard it's a good movie, and I need to watch it.
Also, you love kids' movies, and I'm not a kid movie fan.
Well, it depends on the movie, though. Some kids' movies aren't that great.
No, but you know what I mean. You're more into that type of world than I am. I'm not a kid movie fan, and I will be completely honest. I teared up during this movie.
Well, I also think that you should give the Toy Story movies a try. I don't know why they made a Toy Story 4 because I thought the first.
I am going to give
good.
the Toy Story movies a try.
Yeah.
When Disney Plus comes out, I'm getting it for The Simpsons.
Okay.
So I'm going to give. I'm going to watch.
The Simpsons.
Not just what?
Not just for The Simpsons.
Well, and National Geographic, but I will have access to the Toy Story.
Yeah,
legal access.
But I really want to watch it because you told me how good the movie was, and there are some really good kids movies out there that are really fun to watch.
I'll say this: not only do I think it's the best kids movie I've seen, I think it's one of the best movies I've seen in the last 5 years.
Oh, there's so many good ones. Like I think you should see Moana. That's a fun animated movie, but it also features people that are actually from the Polynesian Islands, because that was the first Polynesian girl in a Disney movie.
Watch Coco and then let me know your thoughts.
Okay.
I think you will love this movie.
Okay. But I also think you should give Moana a try as well.
I will at some point.
Yeah. I mean, they've got some, all the people in the movie that have voiced the characters are from a Polynesian island, and the girl who voices Moana is from Hawaii. And her actual mother in real life, is in the movie as well, as a small part.
That's kind of cool that they're not just like, okay, who's the famous white actor that we can...
No.
You know.
No, she is from Hawaii. Her mother's from Hawaii. Everybody in the movie that voiced the characters are from Polynesian Islands, so I think it's really cool.
I am a fan of Emma Stone.
Yeah.
After watching Superbad.
Oh, you gotta... Yeah, but you also need to watch The Help.
Okay.
It is a good movie.
That's not the reason I bring this up, though.
Okay.
Apparently, there's some movie where she plays a Japanese woman.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know you can't really see, but Emma Stone is this like super white girl.
Yeah.
And she's playing a Japanese woman.
Yeah.
I believe during Pearl Harbor in some movie.
How do you feel about that? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with actors who are clearly not Japanese playing Asian characters. That doesn't really bother me.
It doesn't stop me completely, but it is a little bit problematic. So
it's kind of weird.
So,
but I don't really have a problem.
I'm of a couple minds, and you could also say, well, how do you feel about a non-disabled actor playing a disabled character in film?
Yeah.
I'm of a couple minds on this, so I'm conflicted. I'll give you both arguments. One argument is that, well, if somebody's a good actor, the whole idea is that they're playing it as somebody who's different from themselves.
Right.
So who cares if they're from a different culture or different nationality?
Yeah.
Right? That's one justification. But you have to look at the flip side to where, okay, Japanese, let's take Emma Stone, for example, not to rag on her, but, Japanese actresses don't really get a lot of work in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, it's great that Emma Stone is a great actress and she can play this role really well, but wouldn't it be cool to have a film with a Japanese character that's actually played by a Japanese actress and give her some work? Because just because Emma Stone is a talented white actress doesn't mean that there's not talented Japanese actresses.
Well, and then there's of course it kind of sounds like the whole culture appropriation thing, right? Like, I don't know if this is...
That's a very loaded thing.
Yeah, I know. But it's kind of like remember we talked about non-Asian people making Asian food or non-Greek people making Greek food.
Yep.
We both don't have a problem with that, right? Like,
well, not only do we not have a problem with it, but it's even more than that. It's like not just non-Asian people making Asian food. What about somebody who's from China who makes American Chinese food?
Right.
Well, we know that it's actually Polynesian food. So are Chinese people guilty of cultural appropriation?
No. Oh, you mean like because they're doing that because
they're making Polynesian food, but they're selling it as Chinese food.
Right.
But how many people do you see protesting Chinese restaurants that serve Polynesian food?
Right. No. Yeah.
You don't really see that.
No, you don't. Well, it's like, okay, so I remember when I used to go, and I don't have a problem with this either, but I used to go to a really good Greek place across the street from my apartment, and the cook was Mexican. But he did a really good job on the burgers and the sandwiches and the fish and chips and whatever he was making. And he worked alongside of a Greek family, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if you can do it, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, food I think is really a different thing because if you're a good cook, you're a good cook.
Right.
And so we had
quesadillas.
Quesadillas, which is a Mexican dish.
And most of us are not Mexican.
Yeah, so we have said, okay, we're not Mexican, so we have to have hamburgers or whatever it is. Actually, you do have some Mexican blood in you.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
It's different than the Spaniards. The Spaniards are from Spain. It's a different kind of Spanish culture.
Gotcha. I did not know that.
No, Mexicans are from Latin America.
That's right. I was just testing you.
Okay.
But
and I passed.
Yes.
Okay.
But playing a role is a little bit different because you can see if what the person looks like. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to... I kind of understand where you're getting at because
so let me just clarify, or try to clarify. I'm not saying that you can't have a film with like a white person playing an Asian person or a white person playing a black person, but I am saying I have a few questions. That doesn't mean that I won't enjoy the performance, and it doesn't mean that I won't enjoy the film, but it raises some questions in my mind.
Well, like when you're talking about like a person that doesn't have a disability who plays a person that does, like for example, a blind person, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, there's been some pushback from a certain organization about how blind people are portrayed.
It's not just the
and not just not just them, but other people. And I kind of understand that, but wouldn't it be interesting if they actually got a blind person's perspective from like if a person went up to a blind actor or actress, if there is one, and asked them, well, how do you want me to play this character? I think it would be great for them to get some feedback from the blind community.
I think it's great to get feedback, but don't you think it's even more empowering to have a blind actor playing a blind character?
Yeah, I do. Because then they would know how to do it. But, I mean, because yeah, I mean, in some ways there have been blind actors and actresses that didn't portray the blind person correctly. And I'm not the kind of person that will protest a movie just because of it.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that you have to have a blind person with every character who's blind.
Yeah.
Play every character who's blind.
Right.
But what I am saying is it becomes problematic when you never have that person represented.
Oh, no, I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that.
Like, when's the last time you can think of to where there was a blind character in a movie and they were actually played by a blind person? And it was the center character of the film.
I heard that in the series MacGyver. So Richard Dean Anderson played MacGyver, but I think there was another actor in the movie that was blind.
I don't know. I haven't seen the show.
Yeah. I think if you looked it up, I thought Richard Dean Anderson was a blind guy, but I think it was somebody else, and I don't know who it is. Yeah.
How would you feel as somebody who's Filipino You go to see a film about a Filipino family, and Jennifer Aniston is the mom, and Adam Sandler is the dad.
That would be kind of weird.
And they're talking about, hey, we're from the Philippines. This is our traditional culture. You know, this is, and they do like the Filipino rituals, but it's Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler. Would you be cool with that?
That would be kind of interesting to see, you know, and it's interesting that you talk about that because I took an Asian American Studies class, and there was a section in this book I was reading that a lot of Filipino actors and actresses are typecasted. And for example, Lea Salonga is a famous actress and singer from the Philippines, right? She's been typecasted in shows like she's was in a Broadway musical named called Miss Saigon, and I think she played a Vietnamese. So a lot of Filipinos are playing other Asian cultures, and I think it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that.
Right, but how would you feel if you went to see an all-white cast play a Filipino family?
It would be weird, but I would give it a chance.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna protest.
Right, but there's a difference between protesting a thing. Like, I wouldn't necessarily go out and protest a movie.
Yeah.
But it's going to affect the way I see that movie.
It will. I think it would be strange. I think it would be strange. I mean, you don't have a lot of Filipino or half Filipino actors like Rob Schneider play Filipino characters. And Lou Diamond Phillips played a Mexican, you know? I think it's kind of interesting that you don't see that. And I think it would be really great to have a Filipino movie about Filipino culture and have an actual
all-white cast.
Family. No.
Go ahead.
No, actually have a cast of Filipinos, because you don't see a lot of Filipinos in movies. Unless you're watching Filipino dramas. At least it doesn't seem like that to me in America.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not upset. I just think there should be. I think it would be cool to have more of it. But I'm not upset about it. I'm not going to protest a movie. I'm not going to protest a theater that won't play movies like that.
It does get tricky, though.
Yeah. 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 So, I don't know.
Let me tell you about one other book I read this week. I read more than this, but I'm giving you, like, the highlights.
Okay.
There's a book called, this was really good, Reaching for the Moon, the autobiography of Katherine G. Johnson. This is actually a book for kids, meaning grades 5 to grade 8.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really good book. So Katherine G. Johnson is still alive. She's 101 years old.
Wow.
It was a really good story. So she was a black woman who was a mathematician who ended up working at NASA.
Yeah.
And not only was she the first black woman, but she was the first woman to co-publish a paper in NASA. Very, very interesting story.
And I wonder, and I brought this up to you, I wonder if the Johnson Space Center in Houston was named after her.
She says in the book that some building was named after her,
It might have been it, yeah. That might have been it.
Yeah.
She must have contributed greatly to NASA, because her name was published, her name was in the paper, right?
Well, her name, she ended up publishing something 30 different papers for NASA.
Yeah. So, speaking of books, and I'll keep this quick, but
go ahead.
I finished the book Slimed, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that book. I thought it was awesome. And how in the ending of the book, some actors and actresses that were a part of the old Nickelodeon times would still be recognized, and a lot of them were like, oh, I love being recognized, and I think it's really cool that 20-somethings and 30-somethings remember how it was, you know, watching me grow up. But then there are other people who are like, I was really glad that I was a part of being behind the scenes because nobody recognized me. And so I thought that was really interesting. But it was a really good book.
What was your favorite part of it?
I liked hearing the kids, the grown-up child actors' perspective of how much they got paid, the workings behind the shows that I grew up watching, and, you know, they weren't into looks back then, and they just want ordinary kids, and sometimes the kids wear their own clothes. I thought that was really cool to see.
What are you reading now?
I'm reading a book called American Messiahs by Adam Morris. It's talking about some people that have taken on the position of being the Messiah for their group, or I guess I should say cult. So far, I read about the Quakers, an offshoot of the Quakers, and that was run by Jemima Wilkinson. And I read about Ann Lee, who was the woman who started the Shakers. And now I'm reading about Andrew Jackson Davis and how he was affiliated with the Fox family and Thomas Lake Harris. I think Thomas Lake Harris might have been the Messiah, but I'm not finished with that section.
The Messiah?
The Messiah of his cult.
Okay.
Not the Messiah, but the Messiah of his cult.
No.
Okay. There's a difference there.
There's a difference.
I'm not calling him the Messiah. He was not.
Mm.
So I think but there's some really bizarre things.
Like what?
They talked about. So I'll give an example of Jemima Wilkinson. She had this fever that she was sick with, and she claims that she died. But then when she woke up after she recovered from a fever, she embodied herself to have the Spirit of Christ, and she began to call herself the public universal friend. She dressed up like a man, when clearly she was a woman and she had womanly features. And it was very odd. And some people obviously fell for it, including her siblings. And there were other people that were documenting and saying, she was a really bad actress that tried to make her, put herself off as a man. And she didn't do a very good job. So I thought it was kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Yes. And how some people that left her cult really wanted to irritate her. Like this couple eloped. She didn't want this lady to marry this alcoholic, but she eloped with her anyway. And it was funny. It was really interesting how they would just like irritate her to no end because they got fed up with her and her cult and her rituals and stuff.
Yeah, I've read the book and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I really like how he writes.
He is a good
I really
writer.
like how he segues into the sections. But it also was talking about like spiritualism and being able to see through somebody's body. That was weird. That's where I'm at. It's very, very weird and very bizarre. And so hard to wrap my head around, like, how is this possible? I don't get it. It's just very odd.
Stranger things have happened, though.
Yes. But a lot of it is for show.
That's true.
A lot of it is for show.
Especially when you consider all the psychics out there.
Oh,
People
yeah.
who claim that they can see into the future,
Yeah.
or that they know your aura.
In fact, I won't say this person's name, but I know someone.
He was really attracted to me.
Right.
And?
That is supposedly a part of this psychic thing. And I've mentioned this to you, but I wonder, because this person does not have vision, okay?
Well, not only that, we should also state that this person is an atheist.
Right.
So there's no belief in an afterlife.
There's no belief in a God, period. So I wonder where she is getting these supposed visions or whatever, or if she even has visions. And I wonder, because the people that actually send her these texts don't see her, right?
Right.
They don't see her, they don't have her, they probably don't have her number, well, except for when they text her. They probably haven't talked to her on the phone, right?
I doubt it.
So I don't know how in the world they would know if she was actually telling them the truth, because some people just take psychics at face value. And they don't even think about, well, is this person conning me? Which most likely they are conning them. I think a lot of it is fraudulent, as you would agree.
I would agree, and I told you this before, that my mom was the type of person who used to take us to psychics.
Wow. I still can't believe that.
Which was an interesting experience as a kid.
Right.
Going to all these people and hearing, this is going to happen to you, you were this in a past life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they seem more normal than the lady we both know.
Yeah.
Who can't even wash her hair.
But yeah, I know. Well, what I want
And I'm not making that up.
What I want to know is, for somebody that doesn't have any vision, or at least I'm assuming she doesn't have any vision, how would she prove to someone, even if she met somebody in person, right? how would she prove to them that she actually does have these abilities?
But she doesn't have these abilities.
That's what I mean. How would they fall for that? What would really convince them? That's what I don't get.
There's a lot of gullible people out there. Have you checked out James Randi yet? Like, done a deep dive into his work?
No, but I checked him out in an interview that he was on the show, and he was trying to explain about the guy that used to bend spoons.
Oh, Uri Geller, right? Or
Uri Geller.
Yeah.
And so now this is what he was doing, and he was doing it over. I think he was in his kitchen. He's still around, I think, right?
He's really up there in age. I think he's still alive, and he's around 90.
But what I wanna read is his book on faith healers.
That's a really good.
And I'm not going to go into why right now because that's another story. But I do want to read that how he has been able to disprove what they actually do, like how he disproved Peter Popoff. Because I think Peter Popoff is a phony if he's still around.
And that's your opinion.
That is my opinion, but I think there's something to be said in watching the clip on YouTube about what he actually was hooked up to this headset, and his wife was giving him some tips, I'll say, and it was like really, I had a feeling there's something wrong with that guy, but yeah, but I think I want to go into that book. Did you read it?
Yes, I read it.
And you said it was good?
It was really good.
I really want to read that.
I've given it to a couple other people who really liked it.
Yeah, there's something to be said about it.
He's good, and another person who doesn't really get mentioned a lot as far as the skeptical field goes is Carl Sagan.
Oh,
yeah.
Another question about James Randi.
Go ahead.
Does James Randi talk about magicians and what they do, their secrets?
He doesn't really go into their secrets unless it's somebody who's trying to pass them off as real. Right? So I think there's also a documentary about him called An Honest Liar. And if I remember right, I haven't seen the documentary, but I've seen interviews with him talking about the documentary. If I remember correctly, he says that the reason it's called that is because with the magician, you're telling the audience up front that you're lying to them.
Right.
That you're going to trick them. But with somebody like a psychic or
they're not.
Preacher, they're telling you that what they're saying is the truth.
Right.
So I think the only instances where he's tried to expose magicians is when they've tried to lie and say that they're legitimate faith healers.
Wow. Well, no, I mean magicians, not faith healers. Those are different.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is when a magician tries to say they're a faith healer.
Oh, okay.
No,
but I think but I think magicians are different than faith healers in that they're just doing magic tricks and they're not.
Right, but some magicians throughout the years have gotten full of themselves. So they've started off as magicians who are legitimately saying, this is a trick I'm going to show you guys.
Yeah.
And then over time, they've grown to believe their own hype and say, hey, I'm going to cure this person.
Wow, yeah. I would imagine that they would. So, there's a magician that I have not seen, but I heard he does some pretty crazy things. I'd like him to see if he could do some research on Chris Angel, because I heard that he is like this really popular magician.
But I don't think Chris Angel says that what he's doing is the truth.
Right.
I don't know his work well enough, so I could be wrong with that.
Because I've heard that he's done some pretty crazy things and like some really out there things.
Right, but the goal of somebody like James Randi isn't to expose Chris Angel, because to the best of my knowledge, Chris Angel isn't claiming to perform miracles.
Right.
He's telling you right up front that he's tricking you. James Randi would want to expose somebody like Chris Angel if Chris Angel said, this is a miracle that I'm doing.
Yeah, but you don't usually hear magicians say that, though.
No, but that's my point. So why would James Randi or somebody else try to expose Chris Angel?
Well, no, I mean, not expose, but see, just... Because I don't know much about Chris Angel, and I've never watched any of his stuff, but he's a really popular magician.
Right.
And he's done some crazy things in his shows.
I want to know how he does it. I want to know. I want him to expose you.
You're making fun of me. You're making fun of me.
So tell me your Chris Angel theory.
I don't know. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he is actually doing some weird things. I have to ask my sister because she saw some Chris Angel stuff.
But he's a magician, so he's telling you.
He is a magician. I don't know what she's seen, but I don't know exactly all the things that she saw, but she told me that she saw some weird things.
Right, but I'm just saying, why would you want him to be exposed? Because the whole point is that you're watching a trick and that you're.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's actually doing what he's doing. I don't know.
No, he's not. He's a magician.
But I don't know much about him either.
I hope you what he's doing.
Okay, stop it.
I mean, I know he's.
I think you made fun of me too much for one day.
I have not. When did I make fun of you today?
We'll talk about that later. I don't think everybody needs to know that.
Oh.
Anywho. That's what I went.
That's what you went. Yes. That was great. Alana, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, yes. The kombucha we just shared a while ago was really good.
The mango kombucha.
The mango kombucha with little chunks of mango in it.
Yes.
It was delicious.
Homemade, I made it.
Homemade, yes.
For my love.
And he makes the best kombucha in town. I can say that.
Thank you.
I can say that. And because of him, I like kombucha more.
That's great.
Yes.
I'm glad I could help you with that.
I'm glad you could help me with that too, because I wasn't sure when I tried store-bought kombucha because it was different. But you can get really good kombucha at stores.
You can. You have to look well, though.
You have to look well, yeah.
I remember on our first date, I asked you if you like kombucha.
And I said, I have mixed feelings about kombucha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you completely changed my mind, and now kombucha just blows me away, and I can't wait till you make your next batch.
I know, me too. It's been difficult this summer.
Yeah.
But so that's why I can't wait either. It's because it's kind of like weather dependent.
But I do like that this summer has been cooler.
It's been great.
I think we were going to still have some hot days left, but I am glad that we've had some cooler weather. But I'm glad that we haven't had some crazy stifling hot weather.
Like in previous years.
Oh yeah.
Crazy stuff.
2015 was probably the hottest summer I remember.
That was a crazy summer.
That was awful. I didn't even go. I mean, I spent that whole summer, for the most part, drinking a lot of lemonade and eating a lot of ice cream. And trying to keep myself cool because it was so hot.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
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 And taking, cooler showers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But that's all I've got to say on that.
That's all you got to say?
Yes.
Nothing else?
Nothing else?
All right, Alana Jaylo.
Yes.
I think we said it's almost nap time. Or
yes.
Should we have some banana bread first?
I'm going to let my stomach settle a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's nap time.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Alana Jaylo.
Until next time.
Until next time, Jaylo.
Bye-bye.